Hi, everybody. And it's the evening time. And it looks like I'm like this on you guys. Hi, everybody. I'm looking down on all you people, you little people. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. And I said that. And my guest tonight on JLJ This Evening, Flobito.
I'm also a little person. Thanks so much.
You're actually a big person.
I am. I am. I am in that 6 foot club. Although I am an ally for the short kings out there. They do get a bad rap sometimes.
They do. I agree with you on that. I totally
Mhm.
agree with you on that. I think it's really interesting how in our society, and especially in American society, how height is a big thing.
It is. And I mean, look, man, I'm not a woman, never claimed to be, but the idea of someone being like 2 inches shorter than you being a deal breaker is just wild. He got a good job, got all his teeth. He probably has a degree or something. Sorry, too short. It's messed up.
And what's really interesting too is the whole 5'11" thing.
Oh yeah, how well you know what it is. I think 6 foot was a nice barrier, but there's some guys who were 5'11" and 5'10" saying they were 6 foot, and those who were 5'6" were saying they were 5'11", and so people just go, forget it, we're done, whatever. Blah.
Yeah, it's
But
such a, it's like a negative thing. You say you're 5'10" or 5'11", like.
I just maybe because it's my late bloomer self, man. But I always felt like, okay, I'll take whatever your physical stuff is and like roll it into like the evaluation. You know what I mean? Like if you're short, you're tall, you're different skin colors, like whatever. But there's some people who are really like, no, I'm 6'1". I want to wear heels, so you better be 6'7". Like you're gonna find Otani just hanging out on the street somewhere.
Well, I am 6 feet, and I wasn't always 6 feet, so I was one of those growers after high school.
Sir. It is it this
It is
evening.
nighttime, so there you go, kids. I was a
Okay.
not a shower.
Okay.
Um, so I grew.
I
so
was an innie, not an outie.
I have a halfie. So I was
What?
I was 5'9" when I graduated high school.
Oh yeah, I was five
And I
nine
grew
going
to,
in, I think. Yeah.
yeah, but my brother JR, who is the opposite. He grew every inch of his age, basically.
Th-
So like all of a sudden, every year he was like another inch taller, then another inch taller, and he was already 6'3" by the time 6'2" by the time we graduated high school.
So it was gradual. It wasn't like he had a spurt or anything like that.
He had one spurt. We each had a spurt, but it was like it wasn't. But it was like earlier on.
Ah, gotcha.
I had the voice spurt. I went
Oh.
I went from hi man to hello sir.
Yes, I can't imagine you ever being like, "Hi there."
I had a high voice. No, I did. I had a high voice.
Like Michael Jackson back then.
Yeah,
Oh, baby, give me one more.
exactly. When I was 13, my voice changed.
Oh wow, 13 is kind of
And
scary because you're
well,
still a kid.
yes.
Yeah, but it's like,
Sorry.
hello, ma'am.
I also had a mustache. So
I mean, everyone tries a mustache when they're 13, 14, but I mean, the voice doesn't come with it. But you had the voice, which is
but see, in
crazy.
my world, no, nobody. I was made fun of because I was like a man.
Oh, I think maybe it's a different city is, but I think when we were in middle school, everyone got the first whisker, whether on the beard or the mustache. We tried to like keep it out and try to style it, and parents were like, "What is that on your face? Get rid of that." You know what I
I had a
mean?
full mustache. I mean, I had a
Oh,
full. I mean, it was like,
why did you have a mustache? Was mustaches cool when you were a kid? Because it was not cool when I was growing up.
yeah. Remember, I'm like 15, 16 years older than you. So yeah, it was.
Like what? Like is it the porn stash thing, or is it because of
Well, no,
Ponch, or
mine
is
didn't come
it
in. I didn't have the Tom Selleck.
okay?
Um,
Yeah.
but I had a mustache. I mean, I'm hairier than most of my men in my family. Don't know where that came from. I just became the hairiest. I have a hairy chest. My brothers don't. They didn't. I had hair on my face first. My older brother he got hair later, but he wanted it first. My brother can't grow hair on his face, JR.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't know. My father couldn't either. I don't know where I got it from. I guess my grandfather was his father because he had full beard. But I don't know what he was like when he was a kid, so I don't know how fast he got it. I never asked him. Too late now. He's dead. So I can't ask him now. But I just know that in LA, in my area of LA, I was made fun of because my voice went deep. And
Mhm.
you're like a grown ass man because I had like a mustache. I was kind of bigger.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got you. I
and so
understand that part. I just don't understand mustaches. I don't get them. Like I never looked at somebody who was like cool mustache. It's usually like, sir, officer, I don't have my credentials. Please don't, please don't hurt me, sir.
no, I love maybe because I grew up in that time 70s. I grew up 70s and 80s, so mustaches were totally in. They're for the gay folks, it was a Castro clone. They called them. They all had the same jeans, t-shirt, mustache. That was the thing they had.
Like
Short.
Freddie Mercury. But Freddie Mercury did it to like hide his teeth. That's different. That was an aesthetic mustache. I was like a yo, 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 go look over there. I respect that. I respect hiding stuff. I'm just saying someone being like, I got enough here for a beard. Let me shave the rest of it, but leave some here.
You
It's
have to
kind of weird
understand
to
it.
me.
It was for black men, especially. Facial hair was in. It was the 70s and 80s were all about hair.
I
Well,
love hair. Mustaches specifically freak me the hell out.
it was all about growing hair out.
I got you.
That was the thing, longer hair. Because back then when I grew up, we had the shag, the fro, all these, these hairstyles, the Jerry curls. It was all about growing your hair out.
Give me a goatee,
And
give me a beard, give me ponytails, give me afro puff, give me all of that. But you shave everything and just leave that. Just
well, see now what came later, as you know, in the 90s was the soul patch.
oh yeah, I had those. I
And the
had that for a while.
goatee became popular in the 90s also.
I love those. Those are great.
You see, so I look at my pictures of me in the late 80s, early 90s. I just had mustache.
I'll do everything. I had a goatee. I have a beard now. I grew a beard out for two reasons. One of them's I had terrible ingrown hairs. I had like the black man struggle,
Yeah,
and two, I got confused with Cory Booker twice in Glendale, and I was like, wait, all right, I'm done. And so I started growing my hair out.
great, but you're not wrong looking like him.
But I'm in Glendale. Why are you confusing me with the New Jersey politician? That's like 3,000 miles away. Like what? Whatever.
At least they were confusing with somebody else. I think that's a fine comparison.
Shout out to Rosario Dawson. Yep.
Exactly. There you go. Who's Ahsoka? Thank you, going girl. Little Star Wars reference. But no, they were just big. Man. I don't know. Mustaches were in, and I was always told as a black man to have facial hair. It was
Right.
like, do not have facial hair. You look weird. And all
Right.
black men should have. This was back then. And even to this day, I know a lot of women are just like black men with facial hair. But it was like for a while though, I looked like black man number two because I was like shaved head, goatee, or longer hair, mustache. I just like every other black man was the same way.
I
Like
like facial hair. I think it's great.
you look like black man number three or anything, but just say that it's just kind of we were all in LA is a million black men with bald heads, shaved heads, and goatees.
That's true. For the longest time, though, I kept everything clean. I don't like body hair. I'm getting it now in my 30s, but when I was a kid, I had like nothing. It was like smooth, and so I kept everything clean. I shaved my chest. I shaved my pits. Yeah, that's TMI for after dark. I shave my shoulders. I do all that stuff. Not my legs though, because that's too much surface area. I'm mostly legs, right? It'll take me forever. If I was a swimmer, I might. But like, yeah, the past 5, 6 years now, well, my beard was to 18. So what's that, 7 years now? 7 years. I was kind of grew the beard out, and then that's kind of been the trademark. And so I have to keep it now until I get old and gray, you know?
You gotta keep it looks good on you. I have shaved my face several times since you people know me.
Hmm.
And I look like a baby. I know I look
Oh,
young without it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But I've done it just to change things up. Because
yeah.
we can only as men we can only do so much, so to speak. We're not going to do so much. Now I grow my hair out, which you can't see right now because it's a mess. So it's all in a ponytail. But it's look at all that hair. Look at all that. Don't you want to snatch it? Well,
No, I don't. I'm not jealous. It's fine.
just go to Turkey. You'll be fine.
Go
Yeah.
on, go on. Do you know how much that still costs though? It ain't like it's free in Turkey.
So I really didn't know about the whole. My friend was like, "Oh yeah, the bleeding scalps coming home on turkey flights." I was like,
Hmm.
I didn't know. I had no idea. Folks, look it up. They have these treatments that are especially in Turkey. Apparently, I have friends who are going there to get
For cheaper in Turkey, yeah.
yeah, and for hair implants that are like real and like all that stuff. And I'm like, that's because I always say, men. That's something about men. Men are our ball region and our hair. And those are two areas that we have real strong feelings about.
Ball area mean like size or
Ball,
like
ball and dick, and then hair.
but do you mean like, oh, size of the balls? You mean like the fact it's
Size,
hanging loose or
feeling any kind of ailments around there, any
okay.
kind of, all we decide as men, we hold our manhood in our balls.
Yeah, okay, I get you. No, I'm with you.
And then also, I know a lot of men who are their hair.
I,
I,
I would say so.
I get more compliments about my hair from men than women.
I mean, yeah, I do it for fun because I'm like, girl, you're in your hair. But the fact that you were sitting around with your head shaved voluntarily and decided to grow it out and you did at your age is kind of like a flex. And so luckily for me, I cracked early. My hair was thinning at 19. It got to be like the little like middle-aged man thing at 21. And I started shaving at 24. So even though you can get the FUTs, what they call it, that's what they do in Turkey, where they put a scar in the back of your head
Yeah.
and put the donor's cells there. You could do that now. But I think when guys start losing their hair in their 30s and 40s and they look around and they go, I'm like my dad and I'm not rich and I don't have the car I want and my wife isn't that hot. I quit. And they get all mad. And so instead of paying 20 grand in the US, you pay 3 grand in Turkey, you come back like a king, you know?
I just never, because I have so much hair, I have no had to worry about it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, thanks. You can imagine someone's like, man, I'm really hungry. And you're like, oh, I have so much money. I didn't have to worry about it.
I have so much food, and I'm fucking fat,
Oh,
so I don't have to worry about anything.
I don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, all seriousness, I mean, I've never, I mean, hair, I've taken it for granted. I know I'm saying, I mean, 'cause, like my brother and I have two different looks, as you know, and he can't grow facial hair. He's barely hairy anywhere else. We don't know if he's going bald because he just shaved his head at 18 and been doing it ever since. So he's afraid to grow his hair out.
Oh, yeah.
He's like he doesn't want. He's like I don't want to do it because there's a lot of say. It's actually I try to tell people actually having longer hair is easier than having shorter hair because
Hmm.
shorter hair you have to always to keep it short. You have to always maintain it.
Okay.
When you have longer hair, you can do the put it in ponytails, stick it back. You think just to me it's easier.
Yeah, but if your hair is short, you can like shampoo your hair with soap. You can shampoo your hair with like a turpentine and be fine. But now you got like treatments and conditioners and layers and
But
stuff
with
and
short
flavors.
hair, you have to make if you want to keep a certain look, you have to make sure you have to cut it frequently. You have to make sure it's all. You can't have uneven. When it grows out, it's bad.
So with long hair, you don't think you can be uneven? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying you can put it in a ponytail, you can hide it. There's things you can. I feel like that. Since I've had both,
Hmm.
I know that when I had like a high top fade
Oh,
and you
well, that's
look good with
yeah.
it, you have. So I'm saying it's short hair. You have to make sure. And my brother says he shaves it because he does grow hair. And he has to shave it every 2 or 3 days. That's a lot to be doing to make sure it's all the way you. Because all men want their hair differently. Some want close. Some want
Right,
it all gone. I'm
right.
saying a lot of it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I guess so. But high top fade, I think, is a little bit different because it comes with the expectations of your lineup being crisp. But
Well,
yeah, if you shave every day or every other day, it could be a routine like brushing your teeth, or it can be a burden. You're right.
I'm just saying that like for me, I have to shave every couple of days. Like
Uh-huh.
I hate shaving. I haven't shaved today. I have to shave it. But I'm saying that when you have shorter hair, like with girls too, and shorter, when it grows, and then you have in between stage, it grows out.
Hmm.
You have to like get it back to where it was. Like I was like talking about this with some females who actually agree with me. When they have longer hair, it's easy just to toss it this way or that way, and it's just kind of like you don't have to do something to it.
Right. Why do you hate
Whereas
shaving?
shorter hair, you have a certain style, and you go out in the world, you want to make sure that style looks good.
Fair enough. But you broke my
And
heart. You're like, I hate shaving. I'm like, but James, it's what men do. We
I
shave.
don't shave my chest. I don't shave. I do manscape for obviously just for myself because nobody's looking down there. But I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, that sounds like a you problem. You go out there with no pants, people will be looking. That's what you
Uh,
need to be doing.
I should try one day. Sure, why
If
not?
if you have an art project, put it on display, is what I say. Don't do that.
Maybe I'll
You
get a
don't
date
need
finally. You know, I don't know. But
either
I
way.
just know that it's I've manscaped, but I don't I keep all this. I keep all these. I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay, so I'm sorry I shouldn't ask this question, but what's the difference then? Like, why do you say I'm gonna manscape this region only and keep everything a wild jungle up here and down there? I mean, you don't have to show. I'm just asking, like, why is one or the other? Okay,
It's not that bad. I still don't have that much.
it's not that bad, but yeah, but my
That's
question
what I'm saying.
is
But the bush, push in the
in the
bush,
bush.
push in the bush. The bush
Mine
grows.
is
It's like it's like
okay.
it's like nose hair and ear hair. I have to
Okay.
cut them because they seriously, as I got older, this fucking just like everything's coming everywhere. So I'm
Oh
saying
yeah.
with the bush, because I want to find it, I have to shave it down so I can see it.
Fair enough. No, I got you. I had to actually shave my nose hair today, and I was like, you know what? When I was a kid, this wasn't even an issue. Now
No,
I had to go manual because I kept breaking the electronic ones. So.
but yeah, I have little scissors I cut in there,
Hmm.
long ones, but it's just an ear and the ear hair.
Oh
It's like
no.
that's just like it's so weird. It's like just it's so strong and wiry. I'm like,
Is that
okay,
coming soon for me? The ear hair?
oh, it's coming soon for you. Yeah,
Stop.
Guys get older.
I'm gonna be young forever.
It started in my late 40s. You got another 10, you got another 10, a little less than 10 years. Yes, it's coming. I know. And then the one that's the crazy part, I didn't know we were going to talk about this today. It's so funny. 'Cause I love hair. Um, it's the when you look down and go, oh, did I have the dog on my lap? And that dog's like a white dog. And you realize it's connected to your body.
Ew.
You're like, I have grandfather crotch. Okay.
Yeah, Grandpa, let's
It's
go.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen to you. You start,
I heard gray hairs are aura markers. You get to be that next level now. I'm
it's
classified as an
weird
unk.
though. That affected me a little bit
Really, the gray hairs?
in my pubes, yes.
Because you're not like somebody who shies away at your age. You're like, I love my birthday. I'm
Yeah.
50s and I'm lowering it, but the hairs, what you get, man. Oh no, oh no.
Fix my legs, yes.
Interesting.
I know it affected me just really. It's like I didn't like turning 30.
Hmm.
I hated it. Didn't like turning 25. Liked 40. I hated my birthday party, but I liked turning 40. 50 was fine. So yeah, right. So ages, they don't really bother me that much.
Right.
It's like little things that bother me about
Yeah.
aging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel sorry. Well, there's probably nothing you can do about it. It's gonna happen. Happen to you
No,
too.
I don't remember my 30th birthday at all. I remember my 25th because that was like when I graduated. I was like, I'm a loser. I remember my 35th because I was in my house during COVID going, I'm a loser. But
All
I
right, because
remember.
my 51st was in the house too.
Mhm.
COVID. We couldn't because we're May and June. We couldn't. There was no. It was the lockdown still.
Right.
I think July they opened up or something. But yeah,
The
we didn't.
first time.
Yeah, we didn't have birthdays.
Yeah. So
Not really.
I don't remember my 30th birthday at all. Anyway, like aging to me, I'm kind of in the middle. It's like I know I'm getting old, especially now and I'm working with kids half my age, doing the esport thing. Like they will remind you when you are old. I always tell people 2 weeks ago, I made a reference to the flying V. And my co-cast, I had no idea what that was. And I was like, the Mighty Ducks. And they're like, what's that? I'm like,
Well,
there's a reboot on right now. You know? Or this weekend we were performing in front of a wall of old consoles, and the kid was like, "Yeah, when I was a kid, my older brother had the PS3." You're like, "There's a Game and Watch, there's an NES, there's an Atari 2600." Like, anyway, point being is like you never know when you feel old or when does it matter to you because most times I'm kind of like, "Hey, look, man, I'm happy I made it." Most black men die in their mid 50s anyway. I'm already on that way. I'm okay, But then someone hits you with the "What's a flying V?" You're like, "Come on."
oh, good luck to you because it's just
Uh,
for you kids. Because I
um,
around it, everybody around me is younger than me. Basically, I was a young ingenue, and then suddenly I was an old maid. I don't know how that
mhm,
happened.
mhm.
But one day it happened, and I noticed, and I like younger people. I want people to understand that. I mean, I talk shit about younger people, but I like younger people. I like being around you guys because I learn stuff all the time. I don't know everything. I learn stuff all the time from you guys, especially with technology and stuff. You guys let me know what's going on. I don't know the music, so I find out from you guys what the music is. But also, you guys keep me a little useful. I mean, I'm kind of a useful person anyway on some level, but I don't. But I don't. I just I like being older, but I also some of my peers are a little too old of
Right.
our age. I'm like, I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. Some energy.
But that begs the question, how do you maintain youthfulness even if your actual age is getting up there?
Well, yeah, it's an action.
Hmm.
It's an action thing. You have to be very aware of wanting to be more. I think I well no, I'll say this is two things. One, I think that's a really good question, actually, Flobo. I'm done. Everybody
I
was
should
seeing
be I should be
time.
host. Okay, look,
Um,
for those who don't know, I mean, James talks about his Aunt Faith all the time, and she's obviously older than you, but she sounds like she's young or she's
oh
youthful
yes,
for her
very.
age. I mean, what's the key to that, I guess?
Well, so I've interviewed folks about this, performers like Tony Basil. You guys know, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, her, who's a
Oh
dancer,
yeah.
the pop locker, one of the original lockers, and Shabdu Quinones, who may rest in peace, was one of the original lockers, and he did break it and all that. And I remember asking them, people kept saying they're in their 70s and they're still dancing, and they both said to me on separate interviews, "Remember yourself as a kid." And just stay that way, kind of on some level. And that's
Hmm.
why they're able to dance and joke. Shabba used to call me Jimmy all the time. I hated being called Jimmy. So he did on purpose.
What's worse,
Uh,
Jimmy or Jimbo?
Ugh, both of them just tired. You know that. I mean, there was a song out there about that. But I loved him so much. Our birthdays were a day apart. He was May 11th, and so he knew how to get me. Like another tourist, he just knew how to get me for fun, and in some cultures, especially in Black culture, you play with each other, you kind of do things like that, make fun of each other. Um, but he was very youthful. But some of my interviews, like back in my interviews with him, he's just like he's younger than all of us in the room. Like just with his
Mhm.
energy and whatever. And I think part of that's natural.
Yeah.
I think some people are born old,
Oh yeah, this guy.
and so, yeah, you're born older, and some people are born just very youthful. Then you kind of have to be cognizant of trying to keep yourself kind of youthful. I like younger culture sometimes. I try to be the hip with the kids. I think having grandchildren helps.
Oh right, I can't
Younger people
stand.
help. They like to say, Papa J, did you hear about this? They like to hear my reactions. So I'm a crazy person. So my grandkids and grandkids know that. They know I say whatever. I say whatever my mind. It's all for comedy, of course. It's all for comedy. But I think that helps too. I had a youthful mother. She's getting old now, but she was very youthful for a long time. My stepdad, not Moses, my stepdad Larry is very youthful. Then I had a youthful grandmother who was very youthful, and then my Aunt Faith, especially, who's in her 80s, and she's
Mhm.
very much just like she likes pop culture. Like I just likes hearing things. She's still about educating herself about pop culture and life and politics. I'm kind of the same way.
Okay. All right.
It's fun.
Keep yourself curious and hang out with people younger than you, but in a respectful way. Love
Yeah.
it.
Well, I don't know if I'm always respectful, but I'm
Okay, appropriate, I guess. Like,
not always appropriate either.
oh, okay, all
You know
right,
that, Flo.
all right.
I'm
Hey,
always hitting on you all the time.
you
Uh,
are.
but that's kind of part of the charm of being an old man too.
Hey, you are.
But yes, but I think that's kind of that's a good way of summarizing it a little bit. It's kind of just it's just like I don't know. It's fun being silly sometimes. And
Absolutely.
I come from a silly. You know my mother, you know me, my brother. We're all kind of silly on some level. We talk shit to each other and whatever. And
I will never say JR silly to his face. Nope.
yeah,
Your mom, yeah. You, yeah.
yeah,
JR would not.
yeah. It seems funny. You guys are funny. We have a good time. So I mean, we laugh a lot. All of my friends, either you or Caesar or Ricardo, we all joke around with each other and talk. But it's also we're there for each other. We need to be too. I mean, I've been very serious with you guys over the last 5 years. I had a lot of stuff happen. But also it's fun to talk crap. My Aunt Faith will call me and be like, I can't say something she says to me, and she's a pastor on the phone, and it's all in jest. It's all in fun. But I know when I've needed her for serious stuff, she was right there also.
Yeah.
I think that's I have cousins. I have some cousins I talk to where we're the same way. We'll just talk crap to each other all the time. But when it counts, we're very loyal to each other. I'm a very loyal person. But it's fun to be a little silly.
Yeah. I love it. Hang
You
with your
know,
cousins. We
it's
love cousins.
I love cousins. But I had to learn what cousins are though, which are third cousins and which are first cousins twice removed. I had to learn that whole story.
Oh, Lordy.
I know. I was like, they're all cousins. They're my 10th cousins. Leave me alone.
Shout out
You
to ancestors.com.
speaking of silly, actually, one
Oh,
of my questions I was bringing up
he's
was
got questions, y'all.
is why are the comments sometimes better than the actual video or meme? I love it.
Oh, well, I'm not sure what everyone else is doing, but I feel like when people watch any kind of video now, it's like their time to like see if anyone clicks on their profile.
Yes,
So
yes.
instead of being like, hey, come see me and date me after dark, you can be like, what the hell's going on? So you can click on that and like them and stuff. There's certain comments I'll still get like likes for, and it's like it is intoxicating. Like, they're still laughing at that. That was 7 weeks ago, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
And some of the comments I'm looking now, I'll tell you like Flobo the comments, like Xander Cheese were like James the comments. Like sometimes you see the meme or you see the video and it's funny or whatever,
Oh yeah.
but it's what people come up with. It's like Comedy Central. I mean, some of the things I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying in the comments.
Well, don't let me poo-poo on this parade here. But one of the frustrating things about being a stand-up comic is that comedy has evolved, right? Because stand-up comedy is very passive. You will go to a room and someone will tell you material and you'll be like, oh, I love that joke you did. But now, with the way that jokes are made, you can be like, nah, how about this? How about this tag and that tag and that tag? And that's everyone's dream. Anyone who can't be on stage and be a comedian would love to tell a comedian some jokes. And that's what they're doing right now in that comments.
Well, some comedians aren't good. Uh,
Most aren't. And
yeah,
not in a bad way. I'm not to say that I'm the best, but the idea of like the old gatekeeping structure was HBO had 6 specials a year, and the ones they chose were people who were established. Now you can have a special tomorrow and put it on YouTube and be like, yo, check out my special. And that's kind of like anyone who's in that. Authors know that when it comes to self-publishing books, athletes know that when it comes to being a content creator. Like now you got to go wade through who really is legit and who just has access.
'cause I know some comedians, and also I follow some comedians.
Me
Both.
too. I used to be one, you know.
You make me laugh. Sometimes I don't get sometimes some of your stuff, but I laugh most of your stuff. But the thing is, I have friends who I think are really good. Like, I know backhanded compliments. I have friends who are really good. And they make me laugh. They're very smart, make me laugh all the time.
Hmm.
I have others where I'm like, I cheer you on, good for you. I just don't laugh. Um,
Right.
and sometimes I see, because I don't do stand-up comedy, obviously, so I'm not saying I'm an expert at all, but I know as a patron of it, sometimes that low-hanging fruit is just too common. I see a
Yeah.
lot of comedians just going that direction. There's a few that actually, there's one old guy, he has a gimmick where it's all just bump jokes.
Yeah.
Makes
One-liners.
me
Yeah.
laugh. He makes me laugh actually because he's kind of cute old guy, and it's on purpose obviously because that's his shtick.
Right.
So I go, okay, I maybe because I know it's his shtick, maybe that's why he's old. I go, okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
I laugh naturally hearing that. Like I'm getting tired of crowd work.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
everybody. There's a few people who are really, really good at that. I laugh every time. My girl, oh my God, I'm looking at her name all of a sudden. Oh my God, it was one. I love her, and her crowd work is so good. And so there's a
Okay.
new gay comedian I'm following. He's Southern. He has a farm. I've got his name. I'm bringing all their names out.
Got a
Um,
farm. Wow.
but
He has a farm. Wow.
he's gay, has a farm, and his crowd work. He does jokes, but his crowd work is amazing. Like his
Okay.
there was one the other day that made me cry actually, laugh and cry at the same time because it was a girl who had cerebral palsy,
Oh.
and he busted her, and she couldn't stop laughing, and he was so funny and respectful to her at the same time. He treated her like the rest of the audience, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because how she was front row, came to the show. Obviously, she thought he was funny. So the fact that he just then after he kind of roasted her for like 2 minutes, and everybody was laughing, he gave her a big hug and she started crying. I started crying. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But it's like, that was very cool that he saw her, treated her like a regular person. And she loved it. She got what she needed out of it. She would experience this for the rest of her life. Then he went
Hmm.
back to his other comedy. It's the same. I wish I could remember his name right now. I have to look him up one day. But he has another thing where this one guy was going to the bathroom during his show. And the guy goes, "Well, come with me." And he jumps off the stage, runs, and it's just a whole hilarious thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, look at that guy up now. I'm going to ramble for a bit, but I think you answered your questions in the same way. I think one of the things about being a comic, well, at least I thought so. Again, I'm washed up. I'm a former comedian. Was about how likable you are, and by likable, you don't really mean you have to pander. You don't have to do anything. You can pander. You end up being like a political comic and go on the road in small towns and be like, the problem with those people over there is this. But ultimately, when people buy a ticket to see you, they want to be able to know that they can trust you with their entertainment for the evening. They work hard to buy a ticket. The problem with that is that when you're learning and coming up, you're being booked 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. And so there's a pressure to give you the hits. And what happens is a lot of times people go, look, hey, 20 years, 15 years ago, it was about Kardashians. Now it's all about Trump and stuff and Elon. So now you're like, oh, I know, he's hot in the news. Check this out. What's the deal with Elon? Because they want to make sure that you at least get some laughs in the name of things. Now, crowd work is something that's really good. It's a good skill to have. It helps you out in some tough rooms. But what I think we learned on the algorithm is that since it was kind of a behind the scenes thing at first, people were kind of clipping things out of, comedian destroys heckler. A lot of people kind of made that the thing and tried to push that up as like their main act. But the thing is, if you don't have those scenes where the gay farmer is roasting someone who's also ostracized, if you don't have the scenes of them hugging each other, it does look like a guy's on stage with a microphone saying you suck, and that's not funny. And so people are responding in kind. I think a lot of the humanity in comedy is getting kind of removed because with the advent of TikTok and Reels, where you can make things that are comical quickly, it really comes down to how can I serve as many customers as once. I know it's a whole big ramble. I sound like I'm all like washed up because I am, but I really felt comedy has shifted that you have to decide who you are first as a persona and then bring the material after that. So being like, okay, what's hot in the streets right now? The border. Am I right? Immigrants. You know.
It's like, okay, so her name is Jessica Kirsten. I love her.
Okay, there you go.
She's really good. She's the stepsister of Zach Braff. It's kind of
Oh,
the thing. Their
all right.
parents are married to each other. If you guys, if you got home, you get a chance, and you get a chance to check out their conversation on his show, it's so good.
Yeah.
There's like an hour of them reminiscing about growing up together as step siblings, and they both are in comedy. And like it's amazing.
Zach
But
Braff.
it's so because she's self-deprecating, but she picks up on everything from people, and it's like it's man. She's done a whole world tour where she's done. It was a whole world tour of crowd work, and like
Mhm.
so she was doing. That's all she was doing, and I like her comedy also. I like her. She does voices and stuff. But when she went to France, when she went to it was interesting that she totally shifted with them because it was like foreign to her. It was just hilarious. It was. I think
Yeah.
she's hilarious. I can't think of the. I'm trying to find the guy, and it's not coming up. So of course, like it comes up every time I go on the page.
Yeah.
This time it's not coming up at all.
Comedy is so hard though, but because I will say that the people have their own perspectives, but there is always like one joke or some material everyone kind of jumps on. Like when I started comedy in 2014, everybody had Tinder jokes. Like, "Hey, you're on Tinder this day? It's crazy!" And now everyone's doing like their John Oliver political stuff, and it's okay. But it really people beyond that, people want to know who you are and what you stand for.
I like I so I don't want to shit on anybody for
Do it.
I'm going, but I'm just saying for the sake of this conversation.
Do it.
Like Mateo Lane, he's getting really big right now. I've known him for a long time, just in the circles. Sometimes his crowd works the same stuff.
Hmm.
I've seen his stand up, which is really funny.
Hmm.
So but but he's been posting a lot of crowd work. So it's like I'm not so much into it so much. It's almost a little just nah.
Uh, you know, I blame people for this. We're just too cynical for our own good. And we see a product on the shelf, we want to read the back and where it comes from. And even though crowd work can be just as staged as the stand-up, I think that people think that if I show me in my element being knocked off or me laughing at my own material, like how Kevin Hart did, it'll make me seem more personable and more like an authentic person.
Also another thing I'm seeing that's I love roast battles.
Oh,
I
right.
do I like them.
I do not, but continue.
I do well if they're done well. So one of the things that
Mhm.
get on my nerves is the reading insults from your phone.
Oh, okay.
A lot of
Well,
that happening. It's kind of
yeah,
like, well, I like a good back and forth. There's
right.
a couple that I watched. I couldn't tell you their names. I don't even know what their names are. But I've seen them several times. They're actually married with a kid. They're so ruthless to each other. It's hilarious. And they don't read from a phone.
Right.
They go back and forth. I feel like I don't know how you feel about that, about the whole. I mean, if you're workshopping something, I totally kind of get it. If you're like, but what if you're actually on stage,
Hmm. Okay.
you can't
Well,
read from a phone?
I'm gonna put my feelings about roast battling on itself aside because I don't like those full
You know?
stop. But yes, I'm from the traditional side of like performance where if I'm booked for a show and it's not an open mic, I gotta present myself as if it's coming off the top of the dome. I have to give you not the phone. However, roast battling a lot of times are kind of predetermined and they come to you and they say, next week you're fighting her on Tuesday night in the comedy store. And so you research their social media and you bring all your snaps to them. And that's kind of what people like, the fact you're able to get as deep as you can, not necessarily the performance aspect of you coming off the top of the dome.
But there are a few that they're actually friends, comedian friends. Those are usually the funnier ones because they get.
Most are, yeah. It's like wrestling. It's like you me next week, and I was like, okay, you know.
But I see that's a trend also. I think
Mhm.
it's a trend.
I like roasts when it really was about celebrating the person. So
Those
yes,
are
the Dean Martin roast, and my friend's our friend Amber Scalzo, she's a barber slash comedian. I think she just stopped doing comedy. She had a birthday party, and we all had it. My 33rd birthday was a roast of Flobo Boyce, and that to me was great. But going into a comedy store to be like, yeah, I'm gonna give you some snaps that I came up with on my phone the last 3 weeks. You look like a Smurf. It's like, is that really comedy, or are you just bullying each other for fun? I don't know. It's like UFC, but not the good one. It's like the old school UFC where guys fought for like $10 in a chicken dinner. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like a chicken dinner. I my favorite roaster. Well, she's dead now, of course. Is Joan Rivers.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
the
oh
best.
yeah.
But I would say Nikki Glazer to me is very close. She is a
Nikki Glaser is like the best writer when it comes to roast, like
oh
hands
my
down.
gosh, I mean, she gets in there because I mean, people at home, if you don't realize this, most of these roasts were not televised; they were behind closed doors,
Hmm.
and they would get brutal, I mean, on purpose. Like it was like no bar, no limits. The old roast, old roast back in the day. Like you said Dean Martin, they would get really into it. So the ones they've been televising, they're kind of tame compared to the old ones, but some of them there's some good, like you said, the writing part, there's some good ones. And Nikki is, to me, I've seen her in three or four of them. And she is just like, she kills it, just kills it
Yep.
every time.
I would say man, Jeff Ross too, but Nikki
But
Glaser, I
Jeff Ross,
think, writes for the most like she writes her own stuff and then writes for other people too. So like she does the most work on those things if she's on the staff.
yeah, no, she's good. No, I like her. She's good. I like her stand up too. I like her. Amy Schumer used to be
Yeah.
good, but yeah, I'm not so much in her like I used
Oh,
to.
I think people are just noticing she was never good. Hot take. She was really rude to me at a comedy show once. That's why I had
Oh
enough.
wow, okay, that's it. I say okay. I love that. I love that. No,
I love it.
love it, love it. Anyway, switching. This is random show. Switching.
Random.
I wrote a post the other day, blog post on answering machines, how much I miss them. And people were laughing, but they were really getting into it. And I had these discussions with people about your answering machine. See, you're younger than me, so I don't know how much. For me in the 80s and 90s, it was a production. You like, I pick certain music of the day, get that going, do my little hi, I'm James Lott Jr. And I'm not,
Uh,
do the whole thing
yeah.
of the production. And I miss coming home, see that thing flashing, and oh, I got messages, that whole thing. So I don't know. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, same thing for us growing up. It was a production. I mean, granted, my parents didn't really care, but my brother and I did, and there was a button and all that stuff. But I can't say I missed it. What made you miss it? Like
I'm like, voicemails aren't fun. I don't know. I'm just like, just thinking about, like, I guess I'm doing a lot of reminiscing. I'm gonna do some shows on the
back
70s,
in the
I
days, I
guess.
was not a kid anymore, but someday that's it.
I think it's fun. That's a good one. And I just, and I,
Because the tapes will get all if you
not
do
get
it
that
too many.
song in my brain right now, Phil.
Because the tapes will flay out sometimes, and unless you press play, but they would auto delete sometimes if you had the wrong model. Like it
Right.
was, it was a hassle.
I have my old tapes, so I have them. So it's kind of cool.
I
It's
just
called, "Hi, you're not home. Where are you? Hi, you're not. I'm calling you again." Like, I mean, we were talking, my friends and I who are the same age, we're talking about life without cell phones, life without pagers,
Mhm.
like there was a whole world where we just didn't get in touch with each other or go on a payphone. And
Yeah.
I was a scammer, folks. I'll tell you this already. I will
I
admit it,
sc-
the statute of limitations is gone, is done now. But every time we accept a collect call from James Lott Jr. Mom, I'll be home at 6:30. Click.
Mhm. Oh
You can
yeah.
see what to do. You can say it's enough to skip the call.
Yeah.
Like, I'm around the corner, bye. Like,
Yeah. Well, did that too, for sure.
yeah. So I'm saying I kind of miss some of that stuff, but now you couldn't pay me touch yourself a pay phone or phone booth.
If you can find one, yeah.
I find them sometimes, and I'm like, I'm not touching it.
I
I
got
post them. People are like,
I got a pager when I was 14. So we still had payphones and they got well, in New York City it was 35 cents when I came up. But sometimes they were a quarter if they were old. And then I got my first cell phone at 16. So like I had a bit of that, the tail end of that analog life. But I can tell you, man, like calling people collect and trying to squeeze it in there, that was an art form.
yes. Also, speaking of random, it's the end of an era. Anybody who's from New York knows this. The Metro card, folks. This is my Metro
Ah.
card I bought. and it expires 1/31/26, but it expires soon. Flo and I, both New Yorkers. This is it, kids. There was tokens. I have some of those too somewhere.
Hmm.
MetroCard.
Actually, real New Yorkers know what the original name for that was.
I don't remember what was the original name.
That's MetroCard Gold. Because the
Oh, that's
first
like
MetroCard was blue and it was
that's the-
awful. It never worked. And everyone sort of protest. And they're like, no, 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 wait. We're going to say if you do 10 rides, we'll give you 11th. Gold?
that's why you said oh, that's like this bill. They right. They were blue. You're right. They were blue. I
My
remember that.
dad worked in transit. I know people, James knows this. My dad worked in transit for 34 years. And so it was a big deal at the house. My dad was like, oh, man, without tokens, that means there'd be no token booths. And he was right.
Oh, yeah, he was right. All right, he was right. You're right. We're not tokens. So it's the end of an era, and it's really weird because I got a little nostalgic about it because just
Absolutely.
it's very much and every New Yorker I'm talking to, and you have talked about, you and I have mentioned it too. We're all getting a little nostalgic. It's like it's such a like just it's a thing. Like
Yeah.
in San Francisco, we have BART tickets and Muni. It's the same kind of. It's like it's just this weird, like you take it for granted and you just need it. But then now it's going away. They're going to doing phone and stuff. They're trying to upgrade everything to the electronic.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, physical.
There's a lot of things in like New York transit stuff that are kind of like their tokens, the bus transfers, the student passes. But what made MetroCard cool is that that was like the gold version, of course, was like embraced by the city. So people were doing like putting MetroCard style shoes, they were putting into fashion and bags. Like it became very much in part of the fabric of the town, and that's like an end of an era. So yeah, for sure, man. It's kind of a oh
It reminded me. The subways remind me of the I Love New York, the I Heart NY.
hmm hmm
And I remember seeing them when I was a kid. And then when I went to New York, getting the bags and
Oh
bringing them back
yeah.
to LA, and I was like, oh, it's so New York because there was no I Heart LA, there was no I Heart Chicago, and literally that thing started in New York City. And it
Hmm.
reminds me of just that's what New York. They still have them out there, folks. They still I must say they're gone, but it's like just these kind of things you take for granted, but you
Oh
really
yeah.
oh that's New York. That is
Yeah.
New
I
York.
would say the I Heart New York. I would say the MetroCard, the Greek coffee cups. It's a pleasure to serve you. Those are very the bus transfers of the 80s and 90s, like the long the long pieces of paper.
Oh
Like
yeah, oh yeah.
those are definitely part of the town, man. And my brother still, it's smart man he was, still kept the paper student passes because before the MetroCard student, it used to be a pass that would come out every month with a different color. In fact, one year I lost mine and the same colors every month were the same. So I used like the year before September pass for this year to get to school one day. You know what I mean? It was just a cool time. It really was.
It is. It's just and I met somebody who his name was Steven Seidel. He's a I'm sorry, not him. I met him too.
Oh,
Nelson Aspen, who
ooh.
he just came out. He's in New York now again, and he was like, yeah, it's like I miss that the 80s and 90s New York. I said I do too. I said it's just kind of I know we're romanticizing a little bit about, but it's just kind of I'd like dirty, seedy New York. And you and I've had this talk before also.
Hmm.
I miss the like my brother JR was saying how my grandfather had to stick with them and he's like, stay close.
Yeah.
It never happened to us, but it's like, stay close.
The Highlands of Ireland, the shillelagh, just walking the streets. Well, I'm not from the city. I'm from Brooklyn. So the big sign for me that when the city was getting cleaned up is when they filled in Coney Island Boardwalk. Because when you were a kid, underneath the boardwalk was like it was like becoming an instant adult. There was anything you wanted underneath that boardwalk, it was, and they had to bring the National Guard to put sand underneath it to fill it out because it was like no man land under there.
I remember that too. It's like, I like that.
Yeah.
But you understand that for me being even older than that, the St. Mark's Piers, that was a gay cruising spot.
Oh,
In the 80s. It was tall, oh yeah, all that over there. It was like there was these Navy Piers folks at home, you don't know if you've been in New York, that were just abandoned buildings. Because I look back in the 70s days going to New York, it was very urban jungle demolishing. It was very just like everything was kind of dilapidated. The tenement, my mother grew up in a tenement building, and all that kind of stuff. I never knew what tenement was until she told me what that was.
mhm.
And these Navy piers were just open, and gay men would just go and cruise and have sex, and until AIDS happened, and they closed it all down. But it was like, there are these areas of town, go to Alphabet City, which I always went to all the time down there, which is
Yeah.
they're like the avenues are all alphabets, like A, B, C, D, or whatever down there. It's like they were all these kind of like dangerous areas. I've never been mugged in New York, knock on wood. I've never have been.
You haven't.
Nope. They always
I
say
have.
you get mugged at least once. I mean, I've never been mugged there. I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, it's funny about the Navy Pier because like after this is like the early '90s now, so I'm not sure if you were in New York or in Pittsburgh at the time, but they on the Navy Pier they try to convert a lot of those piers or we call it embarkments to other parts. So there was like a shopping mall that failed. My mom went to like a college extension. She went to Central Michigan University at Brooklyn, New York, in the Navy Piers, and they didn't know what to do with it. It was all this space, all this land, but it was like nobody wanted to go. You know what I mean? So they had a big experiment down there for a while.
Well, for me in the '90s, it's all about the clubs, the club scene. I would come to New York with my cousins. Some are not here anymore, but we go to the Tunnel, Disco 2000 on Wednesdays. I mean, there were just so many different. I mean, I was too late for Studio 54. I knew about it, but it was too late. I was too young. I That's one thing I wish I could have done, but I was just too young.
You can do
Uh,
cocaine now if you want to.
Not to say.
Oh.
I went Studio 54 from the '70s and the early '80s. But we did, but it was the whole club culture, and I used to see those guys, James St. James, all of them, and my other ones who the whole party, that whole party thing, that movie and everything, the Party Monster. I saw those guys and
Oh
girls.
wow.
We were all partying at the same time. That's when the club scene really became this thing, even in LA, San Francisco, and New York. It was a huge. I was already partying in San Francisco, partying in LA, but New York was New York. It was like that's where everybody went to, and the Village was the Village. It was like there was the.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, but we used to go. Yeah, let's go to the Tunnel and all these places, and it was just like house music galore for me. That's all I cared about. And I just saw people from all walks of life that you didn't see in other cities. I just saw in New York.
True. Did you have a chance to visit Stonewall? Or is that like a weird question to ask?
Oh no, I know. So when I didn't know about Stonewall and its importance until I was an adult.
Hmm.
So then I have pictures of me back in 19. Oh my God, I should find them somewhere. And my friend who went with me. He died 2 years ago, actually. My friend Mark. We went there in 1994. I came to New York to visit from Sacramento, and I went there, and we went to Stonewall, and I was like, I just was so. Now I knew what it meant really, and the whole thing. And they had a little park with those kind of those people. They're like those people sitting on a bench and once like or whatever, and that whole it's a little tiny park in front of it. Um,
Hmm.
the Monsters nearby, which is another, it's a piano bar, which I like. So I did. I went there finally. Once I learned what it was, and I didn't really know much about it. Then I went to visit. It did mean something. So yeah, I've been to.
Yeah. It,
I've taken other gay people there too.
I hate to say this because it totally sounds out of context, but like, because the mob didn't do a lot of good things, but to bankroll the first years of Stonewall and to make it a community, granted, it totally ended tragically, but that wouldn't have happened in another city. Someone being like, "Hey, look, they got money. I bet." You know what I mean? And that to me was like a part of New York lore now. And so I saw it myself in my mid to late 20s, and I was like, "Man, like this is, yeah, it wasn't a happy story, but the fact that I had a chance to live when it did was just so important, you know."
It's one of those things. Not to get to the weeds of it, obviously, but just that it's you couldn't be openly gay. So
Hmm.
in the '60s at first, so or '50s, so you had to find places that would allow you inside, and they were rated all the time. And I've been through that in other cities. 20 years ago in Atlanta, the cops would just shut down the bar, and we couldn't do anything about it. And I remember thinking, why aren't you guys fighting this? And we're trying to fight it, but we have there's no laws protecting us. So the cops just come in on a Saturday night and say, okay, it's midnight, you're done.
Mm.
And everybody's dancing, having a good time, just shut it down. So I've been in that before. So I understand the frustration of you trying to live your life and you're not being treated fairly. So that's why Stonewall is such an important place. In California, in Los Angeles, um, we had Black Cat, Cooper's Donuts. I know it says donuts, but it was a place behind it. You can do stuff. Circus of Books. There are places like that you can come to out here. And then until I think the late '70s or '80s, that we had the Odyssey, we had Circus, all these big giant clubs that started to come. And I was a preteen. Then went to places I should have went to because I had older siblings that would sneak us in, Flobo.
Oh wow, Disneyland? Sure.
We were latchkey kids. Parents were, as long as we were home at a certain time.
I was the last generation latchkey kids. I got my first house keys at 7. I look
Yeah,
at that now, like I would never give a 7-year-old house keys. What the hell are my parents thinking? What? Sorry, not the point. You're sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, that's all that right. I mean, that's kind of weird, right? It's like I mean, I grew up that we just just take care of each other, make sure you're home before it's dark or whatever, make sure whatever. Um, I got to go to a couple places in San Francisco. Was I-Beam. They had a tea dance. They called it a tea dance. My first tea dance. It was a tea dance. Basically, it was you would dance to house music in the morning,
Oh,
and they
okay.
would serve alcohol, but like not hard. It was like more like drinks,
Yeah.
cocktails. So it was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
tea dance. It was like so you're having tea, but you're actually enjoying. The end up in San Francisco, which is
Sounds
legendary.
a lot like brunch, and I hate brunch.
I know you hate brunch. I know, but it's with house music.
Okay.
Um, I just remember a few of those back and just kind of going. And for us was Catch One, Jules
Mhm.
Catch One for black people, black gay people. That was a major thing. And I remember going there with my brother Max, may he rest in peace. For the first time, just seeing all these black gay people, gay
Yeah.
men and women, going well, and seeing celebrities out there. And he knew all of them. He knew all the black, the secret. I'm not going to out anybody now. But I will say Jermaine Stewart was there, so he was already out and gay. He was there, but some others were there too. I'm not going to out. But they were there, but he knew all of them. And it was just like these, because I was always a dancer. We were always dance. My family were a family of dancers. We always went to go places to dance. My mother was a dancer. We were dancers. It was all about going. There was a place in LA for straight folks called the Red Onion. It was in the hood, and every Wednesday it was fun. It was a fun R&B night, and we used to go. It was packed, and
Yeah.
you knew everybody was there from the hood. Everybody was there, and it's like a midweek, just like get together, and you hear all this music.
Red onion. I never heard that down.
Yeah, the Red Onion. It's anybody watching this from LA, you know what I'm talking about from a certain area. It's
Gen
gone.
X.
It's all before your time, Flobo.
Most things are, or they used to be. Now I'm old myself, so I don't know anymore.
But I'm sure you have things that you go, oh, I remember that, or is it the same? Is it
I don't club no more. I mean, I don't go no places, but I'm sure that would happen. Yeah.
really? Well, we had like the other day I was talking to somebody about AfterBuzz TV, and speaking of randomness and how it's like a college. We all have this experience. Like I said, I've known you now 6 years.
That's crazy because it felt like it was last week.
Right? Is that funny?
Yeah.
I've known you. I've known a bunch of people for like I've known a bunch of people either 10 years or like 6, 7 years. Because there's one year I was gone because of Bell's palsy, but it's like one or the other. But they were all AfterBuzz TV people, and on LinkedIn I got a couple who found me on there, like, oh my God, you're on here from AfterBuzz TV, and I'm like, oh, I remember you. I remember you.
Yeah.
Talking to Frank, like, you know. He goes, I used to work with so and so on this show. And I'm like, oh, that's right, you did that. You did Flash. Oh, that's right. You must have known. So, like, it's just kind of funny. We're like, it's like a college. We all kind of went there.
Was AfterBuzz a success, you think? For
So for its time period. So for a while, yes.
Mhm.
You know, what I knew for a fact it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I feel it was mismanaged.
Okay.
But
That's to do it. Yeah.
it was mismanaged. But no, it was successful for a time period, and it was getting better. And I just think they made some poor decisions, and that's when it started to. I think it was still actually, it was still successful on some level, but there were some problems happening. And the pandemic kind of facilitated it to kind of just they just shut it down.
Right. Right.
But I think it was too much diversification in the wrong areas. Um, but as an after show business, media business, it was pretty good. And I remember because I was there more longer than you were. That for the first 4 years I was there before you got there, it was the place to be.
Mm.
I was talking about it. We had every star. I mean, I was pulling in stars from everywhere, and other people were doing the same thing. And it was this. We getting millions of downloads. Lots. It was a very successful thing. It was cute for me. I wish it was closer, but
Oh
other
yeah.
than
Well,
that,
same here, right?
yeah. So other than that, it was a great. I mean, I would probably still be there if they hadn't did things wrong and shut me down, but
Hmm.
shut down. But I'm like, it was good. I think it was. It's a great question. I think it was successful, and
Hmm.
it was the first of its kind. Everything
Right.
else comes from that. People don't realize AfterBuzz was the first. Well, they did after shows first.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
concept, reunion show. That was all They did that first. It wasn't like someone else did it. They took it. They kind of no. They did it first, and then
Yeah.
others took it and ran with it. You know,
OG
you
space no
know,
lies.
Well, it was just it's one of those things. Like I said, we there's also like college. We could talk shit about it
Oh,
because
I do all the time.
right, because we were there.
Mhm.
Also, however, comma, it did teach me a lot. I mean, I will never forget. It taught me how to produce a show, how to show run, how to host, how to co-host. It taught me a lot of stuff that I maybe I could have learned it somewhere else. Who knows? But
Right.
I got fast tracked.
Yeah,
Uh,
because you get the environment to do the reps. Like you can think about it in theory, but when you're on a show, you're in the fourth position and you're thinking, what's my role? Like in real time, it's hard to replicate that in Zoom boxes. So
I
yeah.
agree, and I think also the thing was it was a place where it was free, so folks like you didn't get paid. But I said you don't understand. I got paid in other ways. I can't really complain. I had a job. I had other things I was doing. And they never purported to be a place that was like, well, pay. They're just like, use us as your stepping stone to other stuff. That's how I was told. I was
Yeah.
told to come in and be a lifer. I was
Right.
told, come in, use us, move on, don't forget about us. That kind of thing.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And so, but it became something later that I think inspired people to want to stay there. And so it's interesting finding out what people are doing now. They're not even some of them are not even in the field anymore because
Right.
that was their thing. They didn't get discovered or whatever. That was their thing. And
It is interesting because like they had two things to your point about people wanting to stay there. One, Maria Menounos was on the payroll for WWE as an ambassador. So if you're a wrestling fan, the conventional wisdom is if you keep doing these AfterBuzz shows, WWE will see you. And no one really, I mean, Kevin said that, but like no one really thought that was going to happen today. It was just like I'm going to keep coming so they'll see me. I'll get that job opportunities. But I think more importantly, a lot of times people leave their hometowns and they come to Los Angeles and they're an actor, they're a host, they can't get work to save their life. Mom and dad is asking, what are you doing? Come back home. You can send them a clip and see, hey, look, I'm doing something, right? And that wasn't payment, sure, but like at least I was like, I'm still in the game. I'm doing something okay. So that was the value I thought it was.
make connections. It was about connections.
Like James Bell Jr.
Connections. And I'm celebrating 5 years doing this, Lobo.
I can't believe it, man. 5 years was like that.
I know. I said I'm gonna be a channel, and like I say, Flobo and I met folks towards the end of the stuff that was happening there, and we carried on a friendship and collaboratorship. But I said 5 years ago, like last week, I'm gonna be a network.
I remember that,
I had
yeah.
no idea what the F, and now I'm looking into media insurance. I'm doing all this stuff right now. I'm looking at all this kind of stuff right now, the next level, because I'm like, I kind of took. I mean, I have like 80 shows. I never thought in a million years. I have collaborations. I have sponsors. I have. I just never thought this would happen because I never had a precedent before.
Sure.
All new to me.
And one of those shows is Mistletoe Road, featuring yours truly, available now wherever you get your podcast. Mistletoe Road, featuring this guy.
And now I'm going to Bowling Green University
What?
in November to speak on audio dramas like Mr. Road.
November? What about now?
That's what the conference is November.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
But I'm saying that was the thing. It's like Flobo. I said, Flobo, I want you to do this. Flobo's like, I'm not an actor. I don't care.
I'm
It's okay.
not. I'll still say that.
Okay, I don't care. I brought him on,
I don't care.
the thing is I took chances but I didn't have a precedent. My only precedent was AfterBuzz TV. I was kind of like, I'm gonna do what they're doing a little bit, but take it
Yeah.
a little differently. But I had no idea, because you and I both, you were doing it like I was. We were like, we want to stay busy. Everybody's at home. You were doing shows like I was. We were doing shows all the time.
All the time, yeah. I think At the Bus taught me the best thing about formatting and how important segments are. But yeah, it was like, and I hate to say it because the pandemic was such a time of uncertainty. I know a lot of people try to like politicize it now and be like, we did all wrong, this and all wrong, but people were dying. We lost, and our family, we lost a friend of the family to the virus, and so, but that gave me at first something to do, but ultimately became my purpose. I felt good getting up in the morning at 6 a.m. to do emails and record shows. My brother was here one week in 21 and he saw I did 7 shows on a Thursday. Like not even like pre-recording podcasts. I mean like actual on stream shows. He's like, how do you do it? And you're like, I feel fulfilled. This is the good tired. It felt like I was closer to what I wanted to do. And of course, the world opened back up. It was kind of a fleeting thing, but I don't know, man. I really felt that it was a good thing having that slowdown period to really focus on what makes me happy.
Yeah, it was for me. It was just because I was an organizer and everything, and that shut down immediately. Could go to everybody's houses.
Yeah,
Um, the media stuff shut down. So I was like, okay, the last at that point it was 2020. So the last 11 years, I could count my organizing. I get jobs. There were jobs everywhere for me. Well, we weren't in LA. You weren't going nowhere.
right.
Travel stopped. I mean, everything stopped. We don't realize how much. You remember how much it stopped. So I remember my whole community was like, "What do we do now?" And I was like, "Well, I have this media stuff." I had to lean heavily into that, so I was able to do that. And then eventually, we worked out the organizing things. But it was like I was forced, seriously, at 50 years old, going, "What am I going to do now?" Like it's like that's a little scary when you get older. It's a kind. It's I don't want to make it sound like it was very easy for me to change my life all the time. 'Cause it wasn't. Every decision, every time I changed my life, it was not easy. And to be 50 years old, going, okay, well now, and I found something that worked, but it's kind of like it's not. You have to just try stuff.
Yeah, like OnlyFans.
That may be coming, folks, because my roof that may be coming.
Don't be knocking it.
As Dawson said, it may be coming. I owe a lot of money.
I know
I
you don't do feet pics, but anything else you probably do. What? People think you're cute.
I guess. I wasn't cute enough for a Patreon, folks. These motherfuckers.
You had it for way longer than most people. Let's Patreon like basically lasts a year unless you're in the top 1%.
I had it for about 3 years.
Yes.
At one point, I had almost 40 subscribers. That was good.
All right. So what the hell?
Didn't grow it. They started bitching and changing for the lower stuff. But there's another story. But again, you try stuff. And that's kind of the thing. My Zooms are very popular, so that's and I have a new one coming on Saturday, you guys. Sign up. But
What's the thing? Is it soap opera?
no, it's called. We have a lot to talk about soon.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've been doing them once a month because I'm too busy with the roof and everything.
Man,
So
just
I've
too
been doing
busy.
once a month. Yeah,
Hmm.
combined because I do mental health Zooms and kind of stuff. But that has added a different income for me too. So it's kind of somebody paid just like 5 minutes ago for one.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations.
that's good. But it's all about trying stuff. I guess that's the kind of whole thing, and that's why I like these little random shows. As we start to wrap this up, I want to ask Flobo a question that I've
Oh, we're
never.
wrapping. Okay, hit me up and wrap this up.
Is there a brand of clothing you've wanted and never got?
A brand of clothing? Like like a fashion label kind of a thing?
Is there a we've told you this all the time?
I
Is
don't
there
know what you
a
mean.
brand
Like,
of clothing
uh-huh.
that you've wanted but you've never gotten a piece of?
Oh. Hmm. Nah. The answer, I can't think of anything. I don't want to be those guys who are like, I don't care about labels. But the thing is, like, I like Levi's. I can get those at Ross. I love brands. I kind of get them with a knockoff. But the thing is, maybe I don't know what I know. I bet if someone gave me like a luxurious robe, I'd be like, whoa. So this is what Versace is all about? I had no idea. But I don't think I belong for an actual brand.
I remember I wanted Versace, speaking of Versace, then he died. He was killed, obviously.
Yeah.
Then all his underwear went on sale. It was kind of crazy in San
Oh,
Francisco.
oh yeah.
I bought some, but it felt weird to where I'm like, now when he's dead, now I'm wearing them because they were
They made it.
affordable. They were affordable at the time.
That counts.
Louis Vuitton, I got a bag finally once. I wanted a Louis Vuitton bag so bad I got one.
Well, I will say this. Is not the answer you're out looking for, but I one time I took my mom. She was here in LA and she wanted to see Rodeo Drive. Not Rodeo, it's Obama now. She wanted to see Rodeo Drive. So I took her out to the Chanel store and she picked up a small bag. She loved it. It was like $1,600. And so if I ever had a chance to get that money to get that bag, I always wanted to say, remember that time where I said I'll get you that bag? So I guess the answer is Chanel. That's the answer I would love.
I got like that. One thing I've never gotten still, I've always wanted a Prada shoulder bag.
Oh, like a weekender type thing?
Yeah, so I've never had one. I've always wanted. I've seen them. I like one. I've just never gotten one.
What does Parada go for? Parada. What does Prada go for?
Prada, Prada.
Parada. That's what Payless calls it. Parade of shoes. Parada of shoes.
I have
Remember
no
that?
idea. I haven't looked in years. I haven't looked in years, but it's just something that I've always kind of wanted. That I've just never got it.
We got a birthday coming up. What's up?
Okay, bye. Somebody heard that. Buy me a Prada weekender. It's my
That's
birthday.
not what I meant.
No,
Somebody buy me this. I'm saying you can have some little telethon.
if
Have a little
somebody
chicken.
buy it for me and send it to me. I'll tell you my address for it. Send it to you.
What would you put it in that bag?
Mail house
No, what would you put in the bag?
stuff.
No, but I'm saying, would that be something you would carry every day, or like a weekend thing, or a
Well, I
vacation thing?
rotate my bags, so it depends. It depends on the outfit and the day and what I'm using it for.
The outfit. This,
It all
I'm not,
depends.
I'm not gonna roast you. I hate roasts.
So you roast me all the time. Who
I,
cares?
I I would never. I am a good guy, but don't pay me. I'm a good guy though. Hate that.
He said, "Flobo Boyce, thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you. I love being able to sit and chat with you. I said,
I
sit
I
and chat with you.
I miss Flobo After Hours. Just want you to know that I miss it.
I know. There's a part of me that wants to bring it back for a one time only, but I don't know.
You should.
Mhm.
Like
Maybe
that's what my I got 5 year anniversary. You did during the pandemic, like 5 year anniversary or something.
71 episodes, man. I thought the next one's going to be live on stage. I'm going to have a band, and it just never happened. Don't have goals, kids.
And that's your message for today. I'm
Mhm.
James Lott Jr. Follow him at flobito.com. No new content ever. No, I'm kidding. You go,
JustASandwich.com has new content every week.
here we go. I think just I do read it. That one. Um, and you have Draped in Gold
Yeah.
every Thursday morning.
Every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. for now. Jack Farmer and I get together to talk about the hottest topics in wrestling for now. So make sure to check it out at youtube.com/Flobo Boyce for now.
That farmer hates me. Okay, you follow me at James Lott
I hate
Jr.
you.
everywhere in the world. I'm everywhere. Literally, I am everywhere. I like to make statements just because I'm everywhere. Everywhere, folks. I mean, like, I'm not even shitting you. I am everywhere. Just type in
You,
James Lott
you
Jr.
shitting me? I think you shit me though.
I'm not shitting you. I'm
All
not shitting.
right. All right.
You see me there. Bye, guys.